Okay, so we are here with James Wedmore, my personal business coach for now 4 years. 4 years. This is year 4. You know that, right? How's it going?
Boy, how time flies.
Yeah, it's.
I'm okay.
Incredible.
I'm okay.
Well, you're in launch mode right now.
Yeah, no, I'm great.
Good.
Busy.
I know.
Crazy busy, but doing great. Fantastic.
So, how do you in this being busy? How do you stay grounded in this time?
Well, what do you mean by grounded?
How can you be great and not stressed and still be as busy as you are?
Well, a lot of stress is a choice. You know, the pressure we put on ourselves, we're doing that to ourselves all the time. A lot of stress and overwhelm comes from this notion of there's too much to do and not enough time. I'm not going to get it done. Today I just won't go there. And, you know, maybe you see yourself going there, your brain takes you there and you say, stop it. So right. there's, you know, a couple of things, you know, there is only so much time in a day, you know, those are just facts, right? So the choice is yours. Where do you spend your time? How do you spend your time? I'm really good at how I spend my time. In other words, I won't do anything below my pay grade. I won't do anything that isn't really like gonna matter for your business or your launch and all that type of stuff. So I'm working on the important things, right. And I'm already of the notion of everything that needs to get done is gonna get done and it's gonna be fine. That you know, but to me, busy in this period means my schedule is filled with calls and right. appointments and meetings. So it's just a different pace, right? Which is totally fine because I accept it. You know, that's a big thing is like when I go into this time, I accept it. I'm like, that's just the very nature of what I already decided I want to do and how I want to run things. And, you know, it's a sprint for a small period of time versus sprinting a marathon for a whole year. We don't do this the whole year. So right. it's a season. And this is a lot of fun and fun is very important to me. It should be important to everybody in terms of their own business. If you are not having fun in your business as the majority of the time, just get out of that business. Like, what are you doing? Yeah. I mean, but seriously, because so much of what we've been indoctrinated and pressured into is, you know, this success and what we have to at all costs. And yeah, there's always sacrifices with everything, but a lot of the sacrifices you really make are things that you probably shouldn't be doing anyways. You know, like when someone wants to get in better shape, you sacrifice dessert. Like, yeah, but maybe you shouldn't be eating refined sugar all day. You know what I mean? So there are always sacrifices, but it's our one short life. Spend it doing things that light you up, that are fun, that you love, that you enjoy, that make time stand still. And this is really fun for me. It's a real joy. I don't do this for money because I could do a lot of things for money. There's a lot of ways to make money. And I've been presented with all those opportunities, a lot of those opportunities throughout the years. And I always was drawn back to this type of business because my heart's in it. And I believe it's what your heart is in that's going to be the most abundant, the most successful.
Right. So again, this is year 4. And in the past, like I've usually been so nervous to talk to you. I was watching our last one and I remember like my throat closing up before you even came on. And now, well, I'm in Next Level now. This is my first year in Next mm-hmm. Level. That's been on my vision board since 2017. So that's been super fun. So it's like I get to talk to you every month now. So it's not as nerve-wracking conversation. Isn't that funny? Like it's because you're really the most like personable guy. But I think that for me, I tend to put what's helping me, and I think helps my audience, is when we stop putting our teachers or people that are making more money on a pedestal and start learning from them. You know
That's really good, because I don't ask people to do that at all. I just look at it like this, like it's like if we went hiking together and we went on the same trail, but I left 30 minutes before you. And so I'm a little bit further ahead on the trail or the path, and I've noticed some things along the way, like, oh, watch out for that snake over there, or watch out for that hole, or that's a, big steep drop over there, and that's what it is we all need guides and mentors to help us on our path, that have already been on a path for some time, for where to go, where not to go, what to think about, what to avoid, etc. And that's really all it is. And so we're on that path together. This is a path of entrepreneurship, of business. And even though each person's on their own path, each of our own unique individual paths carry with it so many of the same themes. Like I used to do that too, exactly what you're doing, right? And so I never want to think anything further than that. It's just, maybe I've been doing something a little bit longer and have a little bit more results doing something, so that comes with a little bit more wisdom, but that doesn't make somebody better and or more important or more significant than. And so no, we shouldn't be putting ourselves up on a pedestal, we shouldn't put others up on a pedestal, but we can each together co-create, provide value into their lives. Now, with that being said, of course, you should be a little afraid of me, because you know me, I'm going to call you out on crap. And that's just what I do. So, that's what I do when I'm coaching with my clients, is I can smell your BS from like a mile away. And a lot of us have a lot of BS. I had a lot of BS. So I'm really good. I have a great BS detector today, because what we do is we have our comfort zone. And, your brain craves familiarity. So it might be a big comfort zone, but it's still your comfort zone. And we stay in there, we play in there. And then of course, someone like myself or Alison says, okay, go do this thing. And it exists outside your comfort zone. And so what your brain will do, people call this the ego. You got to be really careful, because the smarter you are, the smarter your ego is. And your ego can outsmart you if you're not paying close attention. And so what we do is, most entrepreneurs don't actually experience fear as fear. Fear wears many masks. And a lot of these masks are very logical and very rational, very real conversations. I've heard people say, oh, there's already somebody doing this. The market's too saturated. There's already people. It's not gonna work. Let me tell you all the reasons why. How much of that is coming from facts and evidence and reality, or your ego just trying to keep you in your comfort zone? Or, I was going to launch and put this thing out here, but it's summer. And, my audience is mostly moms, and summer just isn't the right time. I mean, you will convince yourself of your own BS as fact. So we mask fear as fact all the time, and we don't realize it. I have launched in the summer. I have launched a week before Christmas. You don't get to come around me and use these little BS stories, BS, our belief system stories, to to stay small and stay in your comfort zone. And the truth is, I get it. It's cliche. We've heard it before, but everything that you want is on the other side of your comfort zone. So we have to find that, where is that line of where we start to feel uncomfortable, be comfortable with uncomfortableness, feel the fear, do it anyways, and step outside. And that's what my journey of 14 years has been, is stumbling my way forward, failing my way forward, and fearing my way forward, until you reach a place, a really powerful place of there is nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. I've made so many mistakes. And here's a funny cosmic joke too, is I tell my students today, I said, one of my secrets to success is that I'm more willing to make a mistake than most people. But here's what's so funny. Here's what makes this very like a cosmic joke. The more that I've found that I am just free to be, free to act, and free to make a mistake. And who the F cares? The less mistakes I seem to make. Isn't that weird? That's just so interesting to me. Versus a lot of people are always like perfectionism. Oh, I'm gonna make a wrong move. And then bam, mistake. Bam, wrong move. Bam, wrong decision. Boom, wrong action. You know, little mistakes, big mistakes. Oh, broken link, this typo, this was bad, this was wrong, blah, 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 right? And it's like, when you just don't give an F, that's such a free place to be. And I want people to get there, because when you're there, you're free and it's easier to have fun. And then you're just loving and doing what, you know, you love and enjoying it more. It's an important piece. You know, you can't be unhappy on the path to happy, or broke and miserable on the path to abundant and successful. You can't. That's why I tell my students, the destination is the doing. Fall in love with the path, fall in love with the doing, fall in love with the process, and everything just seems to magically take care of itself. Now, I still want to give you the right strategy and the right path, but you got to love the way there, you know. Right. And that's an important piece.
It's a way of being, as you say, be, do, have. Let's talk about ego for a minute, because in the Pilates industry, as you know, that's my niche. You see a lot of that. I'm not sure what it's about, but it's to the point where teachers that don't have a lot of experience, or that feel less than, are afraid to ask questions in groups, because they're going to be called out by the elitist Pilates teachers. How do you, and I think a lot of teachers, including myself, are almost afraid, even though we have the experience, of being seen as one of those elitists. So how does a person, how do you kind of already touched on this, but how can you get to your level of success? What did your business make last year?
Just over 10 million.
Thank you very much. And what was it in 2017? It was like 400,000. Oh, 2 million?
No. Yeah, two roughly, but I'd have to go back and look to remember.
I think I'm thinking
exactly,
of
roughly around 2 million.
I think I'm thinking of the BBD launch is what I'm thinking of. It was like 400,000 for the launch.
Yeah. So, well, my first beta launch, the first time I launched Business by Design in 2016, I did 18,000 in sales, and then we launched it again and did 250,000, 256,000. And then it was, by 2017, it was just under 500,000 in sales for it. And last year, that one launched it just shy of 6 million. You know, it's so amazing, you know, and I just, part of it is just keep showing up and doing the same thing over and over again and get it better and better and better and better, and obsessed with that. But okay, let me ask you this question. So if you had to guess, why do you think these people are calling out and shaming, these elitists are shaming a newbie that has questions?
They're insecure in their own, it's a reflection of how they feel about themselves. That's what I believe.
Yeah. So what you're saying in another way is that it has nothing to do with that person.
Oh yeah.
That's being called out. And the thing is this, and we start talking about ego. We all have an ego. You cannot transcend your ego. Okay. You might have moments, right, where you feel one and connected, and you're just love and beautiful, and that's beautiful. But in this life, in this human form, there's no way out of your ego. Your ego is always going to be serving a purpose of recognizing your individuality, where you are, where you start, and where you end. Okay. And this is a beautiful thing. You are unique. So there are healthy components of your ego. There are obviously toxic components of the ego, and everyone's got one. Okay. And people start judging from a very young age, because they were judged. You were all judged from a very young age. When you did something cute as a little girl and your mom and dad said, oh, that's so good. You said, oh, and you gave yourself a positive judgment. You said, oh, that feels good. I did something right. I should do more of that. And then, of course, bam, next week you did something they didn't like, and they're like, no, bad girl. And they judge you, bad. And then you go and judge yourself. And before we know it, you go around and just begin to notice your own thinking. And we are judging everyone and everything all the time without being aware of it. You might even be having noticed, well, it's just up to you if you have that level of awareness. How many judgments have you made of me since the start of this podcast? I don't know. I don't agree. Is that true? Do I like that? I don't like that. No, I've never heard that before, so it must not be. Oh, I do like that. We're doing it all day long, okay? So that's the first thing. You gotta understand, people are doing that no matter what you do with your life. Just chew on that for a moment. Everyone is judging you already and judging everything all the time, whether you follow your dreams, love your life, live a life that you love, live on purpose or not. In fact, if you don't do it, they're going to judge you for that, right? So, it's kind of a simple thought. It's like, if you're going to choose to follow your dreams and do what you love, let them judge you for that. Let people judge you that you're living your best life. You're living on purpose. You're making a difference. You love what you do and you do what you love. Let them judge you for that, right? But they're going to do that. And you're already starting to recognize that has nothing to do with you. That's so freeing. That's so powerful. None of this has anything to do with me. It doesn't. It has absolutely no bearing. It's your life. Death becomes a very powerful teacher for us because we are born alone and we die alone. Now, I don't mean that there aren't people in our life or waiting for us, et cetera, et cetera. I'm saying it's your own unique individualized experience of being born and experiencing death. This is everything in between is your unique individualized experience of life. So who are you living for? Are you living for all these spectators? Is that the goal? Well, let's make them happy. That's tragic. And that's definitely not free. Let's make sure they are happy. There are people that don't like me, but I love me. And that's not in a narcissistic way. Because when you remove the hate that you have for yourself, all that's left is love and compassion and acceptance. And that took a process for me to get there. But here's the thing too, is on my own personal journey, because entrepreneurship is a path and you're on that path, I have discovered and learned so much about me in just a few short years. I mean, who were you 4 years ago, Alison, versus who you are today? You've grown and you've changed and you've learned more about who you are. But you've also been living your life for a while. And you've still learned more about yourself. So if you're still learning who you are and you've lived with yourself 24/7 for however many years, how the heck would we ever assume that a complete stranger on the internet knows you more than you know you? I don't think so. So why do we give our power to that? We all do it, okay? We all do it.
Right. It still hurts though.
No, we are choosing the hurt, okay? It doesn't hurt. It does not hurt. The it in that sentence, if someone says blah, 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 because that's all that's happening. They're going blah, 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 blah. That they're just making sounds or using symbols on a keyboard. It's true.
Okay.
The meaning that we put on those sounds and symbols is what hurts. So what's the meaning you give it? When someone says, what is the meaning that you assign? And that's the tricky thing. We've been assigning those meanings our entire life because we're still trying to make mom and dad happy. We're still trying to find love, worth, etc. So what is the meaning that you assign? And it's the meaning that you did it on an unconscious level. This person says their thing, boom, you attach the meaning. You didn't even know that you did it. And it's the meaning that hurts. They wouldn't say this if I was good enough, or this means I suck. This means I'm a loser. This means I'm no good. This means this. This means that. And we believe those meanings. Nothing, and I mean nothing, means anything except the meaning I give it. which is why I started with this piece of developing the awareness that people are always going to judge, and it has nothing to do with you. So if it has nothing to do with you, why are you assigning a meaning about you? The only part that hurts is the meaning we assign. We're doing it to ourselves. Now, this is not easy what I'm talking about. Okay, this takes a level of mastery. But when someone says something to me, blah, 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 I do not assign that meaning. If I notice I'm assigning a meaning because I notice the emotion I get in, I unassign it. I go, wait a second. Person's probably having a bad day. I'm probably triggering them because, look, this is what I've experienced. Tremendous. People have admitted this to me. I point this out to people all the time. But when you get success, when you get something that other people don't have and believe they can't have, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to try and take you down. They're threatened by you. We don't think like that. Have you ever seen somebody that had something you want and you said, she sucks? Because you didn't like looking at them having something that you wanted that you don't have, because then you got to face that you don't have it. So it's so much easier for people that are not trained in this to just tear somebody down. So then you start going out and getting to work and create something, that sacrifice, that commitment, and you go do that work and people don't see that work and bam, they just see the end result. Like, here's the money I made, or the business I built, or the following, or the this, and da. And now you're on the other side of that and you're triggering the F out of people because you represent their broken dreams. And there are people that say, because I can't have that, I don't want him to have it either. I don't want her to have it. And they'll judge and they'll criticize. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with it. I don't need people to like me, because what's more important than liking yourself? Right. You like yourself, you do what you love, and you help people. Tell me what's more important than that. And there are people, we have running Facebook ads. We're in the middle of this launch, and there's just people that want to just say, complete strangers. They don't know me. I don't know them. And they want to say nasty things. You effing scumbag scammer, blah, 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 blah. Right. And I laugh.
Crazy to me that there's people that exist in this world that still do this. It's crazy. There probably always will be.
There probably always will be.
But probably always will be, yeah.
You never know. They could have just had a really bad day. But the point is, and I don't want to judge it either,
Right.
So here's I'll never forget this one. This is the difference, okay? So this is about 3 years ago. And this person just started getting really triggered by my ads. And I wrote a few comments on there. And one of the comments is like, I've been seeing these free trainings and stuff like, and these from others just like you for years. And then, judged them and said, they're all crap and blah, 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 blah. And I'm trying to remember exactly what she said and how she said it. But I agreed with her. I said, yeah, there have been free trainings like this for a long time. I used to watch those and consume them. The difference is I learned from those, followed them, and took action on them, which is why I have the results that I have today. And I think that's just the difference. And that's the thing, is like, so the point is here were two people, me and this other person, who had seen other people's stuff. And she was going, scam, blah, 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 blah. And I was just going, ooh, I could learn from this. Ooh, this could help. Ooh, I'm going to follow what they say. And then here I am today with the success and the results, and they're still where they were. You know what I mean? So it has nothing to do with you. It never does. And to free ourselves from that, because we've made so much of our identity and our worth based on the compliments and the feedback and how many people like us, this is really tragic. And here's, of course, now here's where it gets to the kind of like bad news side of it, because it's freeing to be like, it has nothing to do with you. And if you can really integrate that beyond an idea, that's really powerful. But here's the other thing, the other side of it too. When people start complimenting you.
Right.
Oh, Alison, you're the best teacher. You're amazing. Where do those go? Where do you put those?
Well,
Do you build yourself up on a pedestal on top of those? Do you make yourself, does it build your head and make it bigger? Does it make you feel better, more important? That's a very dangerous place to go, right? Because to the degree in which we define ourselves by the good that people say about us is also the degree in which we'll be defined by the bad.
Right.
And now you just become the product of the opinions of the marketplace. Today they think you're amazing, tomorrow they think you suck. And so what they believe is so about you. And that's tragic. You're just a bag in the wind because people are always going to talk and always have to, right? And it's like, so that's who you are. Who you are as a human being, who you say you are is whoever people say you are, you know, on any given day. And that's crazy. And really who you are is who you are when you look at yourself in the mirror and determine I am, and whatever you say after those two words. And when you operate from that place, that's very powerful. And we're already doing that. We just don't know we're doing it, because if we sit there and say, I'm not good enough, and then people say, you suck, then you're operating from what you've already created yourself to be, which is not good enough. And so therefore you must suck. So we've already created ourselves. That's how powerful we are. So if someone feels like, but I don't feel like I'm good enough. I don't feel like I'm this. I don't feel like I'm that. It's like, that's the evidence that you've already created yourself, because that's who you've created yourself to be. And but it feels so true. I know, because you're so powerful. You just forgot when you decided that about yourself. And now you've been living into that for so long, but you still created that. Life is like a story, right? And we know that we're the main character of our story. We're also the villain. We're also the antagonist, because, you know, life is a mirror in so many ways. And it's important to remember that you're also the author. And you can turn a new page or start a new chapter at any time and start writing a new story. Most people don't do that. They forget that they're authoring their story, and they just feel like a bystander or a character reacting to life. And this is important to get this stuff, because when you're in business for yourself, you can't just let whatever happens determine who you are, or what you do, how you feel, and how you think. That's living from the outside in versus the inside out. And when you live from the outside in, everything determines how you think and how you feel. That's why we say, you know, that comment hurts. You know, it's the meaning we chose to assign to that comment that causes our own hurt outside in. Versus, you know, and again, this is simple. I'm not saying this is easy. I mean, this is mastery. You have to be able to go, wow, I'm really being affected by this. And then if you just sat there and said, okay, what just happened? Well, someone said, ba, 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 ba. And then what did I make that mean? What meaning did I assign to that comment? Now you'll know why it hurts. Because it's never a good meaning. And you'll free yourself when you really do start to say, that person said that had nothing to do with me. They don't know me. They don't know me. And I'm not here. That's not my focus. Like, even with my students, I tell my paying clients, like, look, you don't need to like me in order for me to help you. I really don't care if you like me. Nothing I'm saying is to get you to like me. That's such a more powerful place to work. I don't need you to like me. You want help? I'm focused on helping you. Not showing up or showing off or impressing you. I'm just trying to help. And you can hate my guts and still receive help from me. That's up to you. I don't really care. And I got home, yeah, I have family and friends. That's different. Right. I'm not saying that, you know what I mean? We're not talking about family and friends. We're talking about your business. We're talking about the role that you fill. We're talking about complete strangers on the internet. And we are just in this very interesting time of more people are online and more often, and more of their lives is out there, and more people have a commentary on your life. Oh gosh, people have a commentary on your life. And so people just go, I don't want that. I don't want that. And I understand that. But if you want to build an online business, it doesn't hurt to have a personal brand. And, you know, we stumble through trying to find, where's my voice and who am I and how do I want to show up? And you're going to have people say, I don't like it. I have my opinions, da, 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 da. And of course, that's them sitting on the sidelines of their life. The people that are in the game aren't spending any time in the negative commentary of other people's lives. They're too busy playing their own game.
Right.
So why are we giving our power away? Why are we allowing ourselves to be created and defined by someone who's on the sidelines of their own life and just wants to be a commentary critic? And why do we give that so much credence and so much power? That doesn't make any sense to me, because you really just got to say, what matters to you? What's important to you in your life? What's important to you in your business? And for me, I want to have certain things. I want to have certain financial level. I want to have certain feeling of fulfillment and purpose. I want happiness and fun and excitement. These are my values and my drivers in my life and my business. And I'm not going to deny myself those things in my life because someone in a comment doesn't like me or doesn't like the way I'm doing things. You know, there's a quote. It says, I don't know what the key to success is, but the key to failure is trying to please everybody. That's not your job. Crack a few eggs. You'll be just fine. Now, last piece, and then I'm gonna shut up so that you can ask me another question. But have you ever noticed that the people that you gravitate towards the most, this is the whole kind of full circle thing here. You think about the people you follow, and wow, I like them. They all tend to have some sort of X factor, some air of confidence, some certainty. Right. And within that is a common theme of they don't care what others think.
Yeah.
So how funny is that you follow people that don't care what others think, but then we say, I want to build my following, I want to build my audience, and we consume ourselves with what others think. And if you've ever met somebody that tried really hard to get you to like them, it's probably one of the most needy, off-putting, unattractive things they could do. Yeah. So this is an important, it's an important topic, but hopefully I've belabored it enough.
It's a vital topic. I think it's the answer to almost everything. So one of the things I'm starting to learn or be aware of after joining Next Level is how I talk to myself and why I am getting triggered by comments, things like that. And here's the other thing is like the nice comments, all of that too. Again, it's like, that's why liking yourself is so much more important. What I was going to say was I recognized that I was calling myself an idiot, at least like just in my head, but at least a few times a day. Like if I mess something up, just in my head, but I never really understood. And it's just so strange because I don't treat other people like that. Like we treat ourselves so horrible. Like we are and then when somebody has a negative comment or a positive comment, then that's where it gets to.
Do you remember the first time someone called you an idiot?
I don't know. No.
A lot of times that voice in our head is the voice of someone older, bigger, parent, teacher, guardian.
Probably a teacher or a boyfriend. My parents never talked to me like that.
Sure, totally.
But yeah, like I do remember.
But if you did, go ahead.
Yeah, a teacher has done that one in second grade. Yeah,
in second grade, you're learning, you're a little kiddo. Do you have kids yourself?
Yeah, 3.
So when you're in second grade, you're what, like 7?
Yeah.
So how old are your kids?
5, 10, and 14.
Okay. So 5's coming up on 7 and 2 of them have already gone through that. I mean, can you imagine the age of 7, a complete adult? And what would you do right now if you found out that a teacher in front of an entire class told one of your kids that they're an idiot? I mean, you just know how wrong it is, right?
Yeah.
It's infuriating. But that's not how you felt when you were 7. You didn't go, this is so wrong. This is bad teaching style. This is infuriating. What did we do at 7 years old? Because we didn't know.
I remember.
Yeah.
Crying.
Yeah, because you thought it was true. So the 7-year-old believes it because here's all these bigger people They must have something figured out. They're a lot older and bigger, and they do a lot of things that I don't know how to do. They can drive cars and pay for things. They have money. Like, I'm just a little kid. And so when they say I'm an idiot, how would I know? Like, I remember the first time I realized, whoa, older people don't actually have it all figured out. And that was like in college. I'm like, wait a second. Like, my mom was like 25 when she had me. And then you get to 25 and you're like, holy cow.
Right.
I'm 25 right now and I don't know crap about anything. And I looked at my mom like she has all the answers. Everything's perfect. Everything's figured out. You know, those adults had you fooled, you know, because they're stumbling through this just as much as we are as little kids. And then they go and say something like, you're an idiot. And we go, well, it must be true. That sucks that I'm an idiot. I hate that I'm an idiot, but I'm true. It's true. And we don't want anyone else to know, right?
Yeah.
And we spend a lot of our lives trying to not be an idiot. Think about how much wasted energy is trying to prove to people, including ourselves, that we're not an idiot. But all the while, that voice is in your head saying, "You idiot."
Yeah, it's horrible.
You're an idiot.
And the only reason I bring it out is I'm not the only one doing it. Like, there are other like I've heard teachers actually say,
of course,
I was
no. Everybody
that, right?
Everyone's doing it. Oh my gosh, we all have our own thing. I mean, and that's, we have to heal that. You know, that's a big piece of what we all have to do on our journey. I say online business is really personal growth on steroids, because you're not going to get very far, because you're going to have to face someone's opinions. And when your opinions of yourself are already really harsh, you're going to be extremely sensitive to the opinions of others. And I used to have all that type of stuff too. And here's the beautiful thing too, is like, the thing about being an idiot is, brains, IQ, and intelligence has nothing to do with success and money.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? Like, what does it even matter if we're idiots? You know, there's a lot of really dumb people making a lot of money out there, and a lot of smart people that are flat broke. To me, money is energy. And money's all energy anyways. So you're either tuning to that frequency of money and attracting it into your life, or you're not. And you don't have to be a rocket scientist to do that. You know, so a lot of these things that we're so harsh on ourselves really have nothing to do with our own happiness and success anyways. Oh, I'm not that. I mean, I remember someone telling me like that core belief was like, I'm stupid. And I was like, your IQ level and your level of how smart you think you are or not has nothing to do with your frequency, your alignment, your ability to attract and receive, period. And that's so important. You know, these stories we tell are not only false, but a lot of them are just so irrelevant to what you want.
Yeah.
You know?
So what do you recommend? We're past our 30 minutes, but to wrap this up, what would you recommend teachers to do? Like, can you give us something that they can do when they find themselves in those situations where they're being hard on themselves? Like, I know you did the journaling with the breath and the story.
Yeah, I would recommend that. I would say a really great practice that most people don't do. People journal all the time, but this is not journaling.
Okay.
Thoughts appear very real in our head. We tend to believe everything that we think. Something magical happens when you start to write all those thoughts out. So you write them down, type it, pen and paper, it doesn't really matter, but you want to get it out of your head and onto paper, all of it. Okay. All of it is a really powerful thing to do. And just look at it, you know, and see it on there in paper, read it out loud, and notice what's different when it's outside on paper, read out loud. And this is, so much of this is about awareness. You are so much more than just your thoughts. And there's a lot of thoughts that are on autopilot. You know, neuroscience tells us 90% of our thinking is on autopilot every day. So imagine you're just saying that all day, like, I'm an idiot, and you don't even notice it anymore. It's like a fish to water. It's just, you're immersed in it. So when you get it out on paper, you're going to notice a change. And yeah, I think breathing is huge. So breathing through it, saying it, breathing, huge, big belly breaths, full breath is going to be a really powerful process for people. You can also begin to ask yourself, or ask the part of you that's saying this to you. Like if a part is saying you're an idiot, you can ask the part of you that's saying that I'm an idiot, what purpose do you serve for me? What is your function or role? So you can start to get actually like curious about, okay, why is there this voice in my head that says I'm an idiot? And I won't spoil the ending on that, but these are just powerful, reflective opportunities for people. And these are things I had to all go through myself. And today it just leaves me to a very simple place, because a lot of people see all the results and the success and the stuff we've done, and then there's people that get like really close and work closely with me, and they almost, in a way, it's really interesting, they get almost like disenchanted. I don't want them to be enchanted, but they get really disenchanted. They're like, oh, so like you're just successful because like you say you're going to do something and then you just do it. And I say, yeah, that's pretty much it. And oh, that's it? Well, that's the end product. Right. But we have to look at what's preventing you from doing that. It's like driving a car. It's gonna be a lot harder to drive the car when you got the brakes on and there's like one of those boots on the back tire that's holding it down. And that's what we have. I can give you things to do all day long. Here, do this. Here, do this. Here, do that. But when you're too afraid to do it and you get in your head and you overthink and blah, 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 you're not just going, okay, here's the action, do, done, bam, right? We're in our head, we're overthinking, we're in our fear, we're in our worries, we're in our judgments, we're in all that stuff. And I did a lot of work, and I still do that work all the time to clear the noise in my head and just keep my life simple, keep my action simple, and say, okay, here's what I'm going to do, and I did it, and you're free of that. So I hope that's making sense. This is like mental mastery, but everything starts internally first, Right. So it's a good place to start.
I'm going to send you this book, Return to Life. This is Joseph Pilates, wrote this book in 1945.
Wow.
And this is him. And he writes in the beginning, he writes all about how Pilates, it's a mind-body thing. It's so funny because it parallels everything you teach. Mm-hmm. Return to Life, that's the name of it. I mean, we as Pilates teachers should be, or I shouldn't say should, right? We are practicing.
Have the opportunity to.
Having the opportunity. Thank you. So I'm really aware of my words these days.
Really good. Yeah.
Have the opportunity to show what life is. So I am beyond grateful to have you as a teacher still. I love how you proved how important it is to continue to have coaching through your life.
Oh, yeah.
There's no level of success you get to where you say, oh, I know it all, that it's a journey.
Until you retire, when you're ready to retire, like, okay, you can stop coaching then. Just drink your Mai Tais on the beach or something. But,
right. Yeah. That's a great
No, it's huge because you're always growing.
Yeah.
Whether you're keeping up with that growth or not is up to you, but you're always living your life. And so when we go into business for ourselves, we're on a different path. And to have coaching and support and constant having that growth mindset, it's imperative. And that's what got me here. And I'm always just trying to share that with my audience. Is like, yeah, a lot of people treat it kind of like what we grew up with school. It's like, oh, I learned everything in the book and I took the test, I can graduate now. And it's like, that's not entirely how life works, folks. There's so much I've learned, and really the only real teacher is experience. We learn through that experience, and you're always having new experiences, and we always have blind spots or things that we don't know that we need to learn. And when you have people coaching you, spotting you, supporting you along the way, you're just going to grow faster. Things are just going to work out more. So yeah, that's a big one.
Growth mindset. Yeah, that book, Mindset by Carol Dweck, something like that. Mm-hmm. That really does break it down, right? Growth or fixed. It's like, and we have some of all of them, but yeah, like thinking of life as growth. And that's one of the most powerful things. That's what I'm learning from you. And I'm just always.
Well, we came here to grow. We came here to grow. You gotta, you know, we're not getting out of this thing alive, and you better get out the other end having grown in some way.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the big difference, is that a lot of people, and I understand it, I was there too. Okay. So this comes with, you know, compassion, but a lot of people aren't trying to grow. They're just trying to survive. And, you know, and it's been tough times for a lot of people. But it's also been a lot of opportunistic times for a lot of people too. And that's really our choice. Are we going to operate in life from a very, you know, instinctual survival frame? How do I just get by? How do I make it to the weekend? How do I, you know, or what if you took on, for the context of your life, what would it look like to live my best life now? What does thriving look like for me? What does growth look like? What does adventure and fun look like for me? Because it is our one short life. And, you know, what do you got to lose?
Well, thank you for being the example. You're a fantastic example. And
well, thank you.
I think more than anything, that's what I get from you, is just you keep going. You focus and you keep going. And you that's the most inspiring thing, to be able to see.
Keep going, keep growing.
What does Jelly say? Can't stop, won't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop.
I listen to your podcast.
That's a Jellyism.
Religiously. So, okay.
Well,
James, thank you so much for your time, as usual. And I'll probably see you soon in Next Level.
See you soon.
Grateful
yes,
for
you will. Grateful for you, Alison. Thank you. Take care.
Okay, bye.